my flock.
Matthew Vaugh, director of the Kingsman, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Are you a Formula One fan for any chance?
Did you not see the Kingsman all over one of the cars?
Yeah, that's why. I was watching the race yesterday. And
Disney, he noticed. Yeah, no, I'm a big... What a race. What
it was, yeah, I mean, the race was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know, you are British. Maybe you were rooting for Hamilton, but...
I was rooting for Lewis. I think he deserves to be the eight-time champion. I feel terrible that the car we sponsored meant he didn't. I was like, oh my God. But I think, do you know Formula One? I think the history of Williams as a team is very Kingsman-y. It's about taking on the system and behaving like gentlemen, quiet rage. So I'm hoping to be doing more things with them in the future. But I love Formula One. I grew up in Formula One. I love it. Love it.
That's right. That's right. Frank Williams would be a great, Kingsman, right?
Kingsman. Great Kingsman. I mean, what he did. I mean, he beat everyone. I mean, to take on Ferrari. Those are the days. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so after Kingsman: The Secret Service in 2014, and then The Golden Circle in 3 years later, why did you think that the next one should be this origin story? If this is an origin story, I don't know how would you describe it?
Yeah, I would call it the origin, definitely. Yes, I rewatched a movie called The Man Who Be King. Have you seen that film? So
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Well, your homework, which you'll enjoy, I promise you, watch it. Get through the first 5 minutes. It is a masterpiece. It was with Michael Caine and Sean Connery. And anyway, watch it.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it years ago. Yeah, I know now which one you mean. Yeah.
Yes. So I said to afterwards, I joked saying we should make The Man Who Be Kingsman. And all that stuff, it hit me about a style of film that no one was making anymore. And I got more and more into it. And you can, as a creative, as a director, what makes you make a movie is you cannot not make the movie. Simple as that. I was itching. I wrote the screenplay with Carl and I just had this movie in my head. And if it's in your head, you've got to go off, and if I'm lucky enough that I can go off and make it, which I am, I went off and made it. So we're going to do Kingsman 3 next year with Eggsy and Harry. So, anyway, that is coming. So yeah, that's why.
And the release of this movie was scheduled at the beginning before the pandemic, right? And I don't know, it was rescheduled a couple of times. Then the pandemic came and messed all the releases.
Yes.
As a director, I guess you want your movie to be out as soon as possible, right?
Well, no, you want it to be out. Listen, the world's gone crazy. All right, full stop. The first time we moved it was getting the right date. Then Disney and Fox, well, Disney bought Fox. So we were in the middle of that and getting the new team in, which was, amazing, the new people. And then we got all ready to go. And then the pandemic happened. So, I shot this 3 years ago. We wrote it 4.5 years ago. That's a long time, right? I've shot the new, other movies in between now, and it is odd talking about it. But where Disney were great, we could have easily put this on Disney Plus and be done with it and go streaming. But it's an epic film. It's for widescreen enjoyment. So I'm grateful that Disney waited. As long as the pandemic doesn't carry on and kick our asses, and none of us can see a film this, but touch wood, will be okay.
The history references in the movie, I don't want to give any spoilers here, right? But they are really funny and crazy. We were in the screening with every new historic character. We were kind of laughing there. What was the idea behind that? And do you see this as mainly as a comedy or not? Because at the same time, there is a lot of drama in this. Starting for the first scene, there is a lot of drama in this movie too.
Yeah, this had to be different. So you can't, So I would definitely want. Yeah, was about, it's the birth of the Kingsman, and you don't give birth to 18-year-old men. You give birth to babies, and then they grow, and then they become a man. So that is the point of this. You had to start somewhere very different. And World War One, I don't know how good it is to do a comedy about World War One. So I needed to be, I wanted to be respectful to the time, but the war gave birth to Kingsman. So birth is not necessarily an easy thing to do, but once it's done, then towards the end, it can become more Kingsman-ish.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, I have to ask about this amazing location. I don't know if it's CGI, where in the Kashmir region, this kind of big rock up there is visually stunning. How did you end up getting there, or what's the story behind that?
Well, we tried to do as much of this movie in camera, because when I was watching these epic films, they were epic because it was the locations. So we shot a lot of this in Turin for Russia, because we couldn't go to Russia. And Turin is just beautiful. I mean, just blew my mind how beautiful Turin was. So the buildings, the architecture. And I cannot remember exactly where it was, but it was on the French-Swiss border, was the mountain. That's real.
Okay.
We obviously couldn't film on top of it, because that's virtually impossible. But we went there and we plated it. So we tried not to do CGI, but we also had to be safe. So we rebuilt and put the real backgrounds into the films. But all that helicopter stuff, and that was all real.
The movie looks amazing. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thanks, and congrats on the film.
Well, please spread the word, and thank you.
Take care.